video. My name is Matt Schmidt, and I guide people to heal themselves by connecting to higher states of consciousness. Alright, in this video, we're going to be talking about the higher self. So, in my work, we connect a lot with the higher self. You may have heard this term. Um, and even though I work with it every day, my understanding of this is constantly evolving. So, I kind of want this to be more of like a collaboration. So if you want to like share your ideas on what your views are, my understanding changes every week as far as like how things are connected and how this all works. But so yeah, we work with this. I work with this every day. It's what's called the oversoul sometimes, or um, I was originally taught as the subconscious, not to be confused with the clinical definition of the subconscious, but um, yeah, so this is all the same thing. It's just termed different depending on who you talk to. But it's all the same thing, and basically it's the part of you that can connect to everything. That's kind of the way I see it. So as we're going through our lives here, we kind of see ourselves as, like fingers on a hand. So we see all of us as being separate. But we actually don't see that further up, our higher selves, we're all connected. So we're connecting to everything that way. Um, in quantum physics, this is described as quantum entanglement. It's that connection to everything. So there's no time, there's no space. You can connect to everything, everyone, simultaneously. All right. The higher self, without getting too esoteric, is the part of you that has your best interest in mind. Okay, it's the one that's looking out for you at all times. Okay, it's constantly guiding you. The problem is a lot of us have forgotten how to listen to that guidance. Okay, for me, when I first realized what my higher self was, um, I knew it was that little voice that was like, it's always been with me. It's like, hey, shouldn't you be wearing safety glasses? And you're like, no, I'll just squint. So every guy knows that voice because they think they know better than it. But I can guarantee you that life gets way easier when you start to listen to that voice and that guidance that's always there. It's that gut feeling, like there's different ways of getting stuff, or you just have that knowing or sensing or feeling, or you might get stuff in dreams. You're constantly being guided. Okay, so, and life does get easier once you learn to trust that and to start listening to it. That is the free will aspect of it. So it doesn't matter what you believe, your higher self is with you. It's that aspect of you, like we said, that's connected to everything. And it's been with you, it's always been with you, you've always been with it. Does not matter what you believe. um, Everyone has one. So it's that part of you that's constantly guiding you that, can connect and get the information for everything. So, um, I think they call it the higher self because it does have that higher vantage point. Everything is way clear from that higher perspective. Okay, so you can think of it like kind of like a bird's eye view of things. And you could be going through life and you could be like, oh, I need to get there. And you can see where you need to get, but there's like a river, a bunch of brush, and you're like, oh, I'm just going to go that way. And your higher self is trying to guide you, saying, I know it looks shorter, but you have to go through the bushes and you have to go through the river, and there's a bear waiting for you in the bushes. um, so you can go that way and you'll get there, but your higher self is saying, hey, there's a bridge right over there and a path. It may seem a little bit longer, it may not make sense, but definitely want to go that way. Well, that's where their free will comes in. You have a choice not to listen to it. Be like, yeah, I'm going to go this way. And that was me for like the longest time. Yeah, you can pound through all that stuff, or you can take the way around. So trusting that and listening to it, even if it doesn't make sense, it may seem like, oh, that's longer, I don't want to go that far, but your higher self has that higher vantage point and can guide you more appropriately. Okay? So once you start to listen, life gets way easier. And surprisingly, you end up getting more stuff done. I noticed that even with my other job, like didn't even know how it was possible, but yeah, I'm constantly using that guidance and not being worried about the stuff that I couldn't control, or that, I don't know, that didn't seem to make sense at the time because I used to just plow through everything and just get frustrated, and a lot easier when you start to listen. So, how are we going to use all this? We can use this by connecting with our higher self. And just about every time I ask, oh, how can you communicate clearly with your higher self? And they say, just ask. Every single person, just ask, just ask. You're the one that can't hear me. So, all right, so that works really well. So if you don't ask, you won't get what you want. It does, like, there's this kind of like, think of it as this kind of like policy of non-interference. You know, it can be guided and stuff, but it's not going to tell you what to do or do anything for you. So you have to ask for the guidance you're looking for, ask for the things you want. If you don't ask, you won't get it. So I compare this to like the ultimate Google search. You can find out anything, but if you don't type anything, you're not going to get an answer. Okay, so kind of think of it that way. Then as far as like the receiving information, listening to that guidance, it's part of the things you can kind of quiet your mind. Some people like we talked about driving, meditating, standing in the shower, however you quiet your mind. For me, it's like cutting the lawn or shoveling snow, standing in the shower, driving. That's when I quiet my mind, where I'm doing these like mundane tasks that this stuff can like pop in. Okay, and that's how you get into that receiving mode of listening. All right, some people don't need that. Some people, just there's different ways of asking and getting that information. Okay, so whatever way works best for you, just do that. And then I think the biggest thing that I've noticed personally is trusting that. You'd be like, oh, that's just a coincidence. That was me before. Like, oh, that was just a lot of coincidences. Well, if you realize that that's all guidance for you, then it makes it a lot easier to listen to that and to start trusting that. All right. So when you're going through life, that little voice is always there. If you get a gut feeling about something, like, just know, like, there's a reason for that. Like, oh, I don't feel good around this person. I don't feel like it's safe. Trust that feeling. Trust that inner knowing. Okay, because it's constantly being guiding you. If things aren't working out well and they continually aren't working out well, that resistance is trying to guide you to something better. Okay, not to say that there's not going to be some things that are tough or challenging, but like, if it's time and time again of just this continued resistance, that's your sign to be doing something else that's put in your place to help you and to guide you. Okay, so part of that is trusting that. All right, this is a short little video. Please share in the comments below what your experiences are, what your understanding is, because this is kind of like an evolving understanding for me of how this all works. So I'd love to hear what you have to say. So, all right, thank you. We'll see you on the next video. All right, bye.